Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Good morning, all present over here. I'm Dimple Jaiswal, Assistant Professor in Computer Science Department. Firstly, I want to welcome you all audience present over here. Today's webinar, AI in Cybersecurity, is based on artificial intelligence and cybersecurity. As cyber attacks grow in volume and complexity, how artificial intelligence is helping under resource security operations. How artificial intelligence plays role in cybersecurity. What are challenges and promises of artificial intelligence in cybersecurity? And many more questions are rising in our mind. It's a great privilege for all of us as we are the only institute who has accredited from National Cyber Safety and Security Standards as Rajasthan's first AI Cyber Defense Center. Today, Global Institute of Technology is feeling honored to have experts from NCDRC and NCSSS. By not taking so much time, let's welcome our guest, Dr. E. Khaliraj, Board Member, National Cyber Defense Research Center. He is member of Material Analysis Crime Committee, National Cyber Crime Defense Handbook, a joint initiative by NCSSS and Government of India. Dr. Khaliraj is project architect, MSME Connect, a joint venture by NCSSS and Ministry of MSME Government of India. He is member of High Level Committee, National Institute of Cyber Security, also member of Standards Formation Committee, National Cyber Safety and Security Standards. He was Summit Head, National Cyber Safety and Security Standards Summit 2014 and 15, a joint initiative of state and central government of India. He was Additional Director General, National Cyber Safety and Security Standards Director, Recruitment Analysis Council. He was project head for 3 books regarding cyber issues in India. He was in Parliamentary Standing Committee on Cyber Pornography. He headed 6 national level cyber security summit joint initiative with Ministry of Home Affairs and Ministry of Electronics and Telecommunication Information Technology Government of India. He conducted cyber awareness program for women and children. He addressed as chief guest more than 200 institutions and addressed more than lakh people and student crowd. Honorable High Court of Madras appointed to investigate in cyber cases in 2015. Sir, it's a great pleasure to have such personality with us. We all are very excited to hear from you. I would like to welcome you and eager to learn from you, sir. Over to you, sir.
Can I start my session?
Yes, sir, definitely.
Happy morning. First of all, thanks for giving this wonderful opportunity to interact with you. I visited your institute, I think on March. So after that only all this lockdown, everything has happened.
Yeah.
Of course, throughout the global, we are facing this COVID-19. It's very pandemic situation. So most of the institutions is not open. So through online sessions, everything is going on. Of course, we all pray to the God. Soon this problem will comes to end. Hello, are you audible? Hello, are you audible?
Sir, you are audible, sir.
Yeah. So National Cyber Defense Research Center, we are planning to implement throughout India. So almost we have more than 600 research centers. So our first research center, we are planning to open Rajasthan in Jaipur, Pink City. I'm very happy to open in Global Institute. Of course, your management and I have interact with a few faculties and everyone in your institutions. So everyone is very down to earth, and I've seen your atmosphere, ambience, everything what your management has given to you. It was excellent, good ambience. At the same time, you know very well that our new higher education policy says 65% you wants to focus on research activities, only 35% will be the practical knowledge. So students, so there is no chance you want to focus year after on research activities. India needs more research peoples in different domain, not only in cybersecurity, in different domains. But cybersecurity, India needs more manpower. As of now, we have very less manpower in cybersecurity domain. So I request institute, not only global institute, to all institutes in India, please focus research activities in students society. So that's very important right now to our nation. National Cyber Defense Research Centers, we are working in different platform like IoT, network security, SCADA security, web technology. So we have different research centers. So these research centers, we are working in different real-time projects. So how these research centers going to work? Global Institute, we have implemented artificial intelligence, machine learning. Of course, you know very well about artificial intelligence. It's very one of the main important domain. It's a connection between machine and human being. So very important domains. India needs these domains. This artificial intelligence now we are using in many sectors like automobile, agriculture, banking sectors. You take any domains, we are using artificial intelligence. So we need more manpower on this domain. So we have implemented this artificial intelligence machine learning in Global Institute. So how this research center is going to work? So once we have started this research center in your institute, so our team will conduct one online exam to the students. It's not only for the computer science and IT background students, it's common to all. Because you know very well that computer cyber crime is common to all, not only computer science and IT. Any domain students can participate in these online exams. So after that, we will select around 50 to 60 students in that overall. So in that 50 to 60 students, we will conduct one-to-one interview. So previously it will be a direct interview. Now it's, I don't know how it's possible. So we are going to interact through any domain. So once we finish that direct interview with students, in that we will select 30 students. So 30 students, we will 30 to 45 students maybe. It's based upon your knowledge and everything. So we don't want to avoid other students. So we will select 45 students, 30 to 45 students. These 45 students, we will separate 15 batches, total 3 batches. So we will have 3 staffs from your college to monitor these batches. Initially, we will give sample projects to work, and every 2 months we need papers from your end, the related domains. So once you submitting all these papers and sample projects work out, everything it will happen. So after 6 months, we used to give a small tools to work to sort out the issues, and we will get some input from your side, actually what students are expecting and your real ideas. So based upon that, we are planning to give projects and innovation ideas, everything. So all these innovation ideas and your papers, everything is going to submit to the Government of India. I'm damn sure that the best papers, the projects will be honored by Government of India. And right now we have huge number of vacancies in Government of India in cybersecurity domain. You know very well that we are in digital world. India is running towards digital. All our data, sensitive informations, everything is moved into digital era. So we need more manpower to secure that data. So I'm damn sure once you concentrate in this domain, your future will be good. So we are very open. National cyber safety and security standards. We are working with many state government and central government. We are the cyber security advisor. We are very open. Any new techniques, any innovations, ideas, we are ready to receive from your end. And any support from institute or from student side you require, you can reach our people. I am not just joking. We are right now we are working 24/7. All our research centers, we are giving informations and projects, everything working is going on. So please concentrate. I will nominate few persons from my side to give the sample projects and tools and informations about artificial intelligence and trainings, everything. I will nominate some persons to your research activities. So you take their knowledge and grow for next level. So you know very well that cybersecurity is the next world war. So you know very well that recently we have faced some problem with China. So China is planned to attack in cyber. So unfortunately, our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Bhai Modi have blocked all the Chinese apps. So few people says that what is the problem? What is the solution? Sort out this, block these all Chinese app. Of course, because of blocking all these Chinese apps, we have take control of this Chinese war. You know very well that we have n number of unwanted apps are available in our phone. So we have start downloading. You know very well that all apps have, once you have given restrict any permission, so it won't permit to use that app. So already we have given all our information to the Chinese app. So right now we have blocked most of the unwanted Chinese apps. So try to be secure. Try to teach about cybersecurity to your society. That's very important. Not only research, national cyber safety and security standards focusing on awareness also, because India needs more awareness on cybersecurity. As I said previous, all our data, everything is moved into digital era. Train ticket, bus ticket, travel, darshan, everything is moved into online. So still people's depend these things to other people. You know very well that all our banking transactions, everything is moved into online. It includes ATM transactions and everything. So still in India, people have ATM card. They used to give their ATM cards and they share their PIN number to the strangers and other peoples because they don't have proper awareness. So India backbone is village and agriculture. Still, people are struggling to use ATMs. So please give awareness to that type of peoples. Identify them. Monthly once, I will ask your institute to conduct this type of activities to your nearest village with the help of your students. So it will be more helpful to our nation. India needs more educate in cyber security. So I request institute, management and students to create more awareness on cyber security and more research activities on cyber. I wish Global Institute to be a successful in artificial intelligence, machine learning research centers. I'm damn sure because your management after March, they did these research centers. And Niti Singhal madam continuously following me for the research activities. We are here to support you. Do the best. All the best. Jayant.
Thanks a lot, sir. Very informative session, and I wish my gratitude to sir for providing such information and encouraging about artificial intelligence and cybersecurity. And he talked about recruitment in NCSS and how can our student join the NCSS. That's very great and big opportunity for our students to grab this. You discussed about Chinese apps and cyber crimes with ATM. So very helpful session, and yes, I agree. India needs more educator about in the field of cybercrime and cybersecurity. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Now I would like to welcome our next guest, Mr. Satish Ashwin.
No, Satish Ashwin is not available, I think so. Dinesh Pandian will be there.
Okay, sir. Mr. Dinesh Pandya. He is member of National Cyber Defense Research Center. He is director of operation in the Cyber School. He is co-founder of GeoMio Informatics. He is member of incubated team X of Brink.io, Hong Kong. He is hardware specialist in Tamil Nadu Police. He is software engineer for many projects. He has expertise in blockchain, cryptocurrency, data mining. He is certified cyber forensics professionals, CCFP. He has honored with many awards like Best Youth Award 2019 and 18 by Government of Tamil Nadu, Best Social Entrepreneur by Tamil Nadu Police Department, Kamal Patra Award in 2017 and Anna University Swimming Champion in 2011 and many more. Welcome sir, over to you sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you for this opportunity. It's my great privilege to talk in the. Yeah, ma'am. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes sir, but your video is not visible. You're not visible.
Ma'am, because I'm going to push my slides there. So my video.
No
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. So it's my privilege to talk in the dais where my additional director Kailajan sir have spoken right now. Thank you, Kailajan sir, for giving me this opportunity to talk in front of us. So, I just want to turn on my screen share. So, ma'am, is my screen is audible to you, ma'am?
Yes sir, yes sir, it's visible. And
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. So in the current scenario of this COVID-19 scenario, after this March period, there are a lot of cyber attacks have been happening in and out of India. So I just want to just give a brief on that before entering into the session. So we Indians never have been experienced in the working from culture than a minimalistic of companies and MNCs companies. So when this COVID situation reach in between this 2020, we all were being allowed to do virtually everything virtually. The classes become virtual, the work become virtual, and even the expos and whatever the things we are doing, it's become virtual. So we as a Indians were not ready to be in this field, because when your people are working in colleges, in schools, or in many IT institutions, you can see lot of IBS, IPS, firewalls, URL filters, security gateways could be inbuilt in all of your security patches. But when suddenly this corona situation gave us a lockdown, we all were being pushed inside this work from home culture, where we had to use the enterprise softwares into a home-based version-based softwares. So basically, if you are want to use some unauthorized site in your labs in your college systems, you are not supposed to use it, because you would have some firewall or defenders that could predict you. But when it is comes into your home systems, you don't have any proper security patches on your home. Even most of the people in India were not allowed were not using genuine OS or any kind of antivirus system. So that's what the main reason we are facing a major of cyber security breaches and cyber security attacks across this lockdown period. So on this Independence Day, Narendra Modi ji have given a brief 5 to 6 minutes on the topic of cyber security and cyber laws, what is going to be governing our body, and we are going to get new regulations in cyber within few months of time in India. So that was a great news on this August 15th, what our PM have been declared on the assembly. So coming into the point, today we are going to see the AI in cybersecurity. Basically, AI is a term what is being used in past 5 to 6 years, and which is revolving lot of industry across India. So right now we are going to see how this AI is being inbuilt in the cyber security domain, and which is going to help the mankind in lot of fields and domains where the expertise may be lying on the impactful field, where they can regulate lot of regulation on the enterprise level solutions, right? So basically, so first I'm a bit coming from the basics. let's train you all on this AI. So if I'm saying 1, you should repeat it's 101. So if I say 2, you should say it's 103. So now your mind started to calculate what is this formula. So if it is 1, it is 101. If I say 2, you can say it's 103. So your mind automatically calculate the formula. So now if I say 4, what could be your result, right? So basically everyone would have got the answer, right? Yes, the answer is pretty much right. And of course, the natural intelligence is there for everyone. So how we derived it? Okay, we are seeing like how we derived this data. So first we have the data. Then our mind have been calculating the rule, and we have been training the data, and the answer is yet to come as 105. This is the method what we are been influencing in the artificial intelligence to frame a rule. Okay, so now what we did, so we have a data, and we implemented a rule, and the rule was been converted into a program, and it was been diverted into the answer, right? So it's a traditional programming method, like lot of gates are been available, like whatever the gates, maybe you can use it. So this is the traditional programming method what we all are following currently, right? So right now I am trying my ML program. So right now what I have a data and I have an answer. So right now I should train my ML model to get the answer, right? So AI and ML is nothing like a child or a baby, where we should give lot of methods and training and spoon feeding for them to understand what is our model is. Okay, so we are giving a data and the answer is with us. Right now we are going to train the model, and when the model has been ready, when a data has been implemented into ML model and the answer has been derived, right? I think you can understand this basic structure of ML programming. So like this is what the artificial intelligence means. So artificial intelligence is a huge topic where machine learning is an algorithm which is used for it, and for using the machine learning we need data science and a big data, and moreover for training them we need the deep learning method of this tech. Okay, so this is what this AI and ML model has been pretending to be preaching on this tech world. Okay, so right now we are coming into our subject. So basically I explained to you what is this basic AI model and the AI, how it works. So now we are coming into the topic of cyber crimes. So you can see in my screen there are a lot of crimes which comes under the category of cyber crimes, which is defining the recent crimes right now. So there are emotional crimes, boring crimes, paid crimes, social engineering. Sometimes the crimes have no logics, and moreover the botnets and zombies are a part of it. So let's see what are these emotional crimes. Okay, so a day you would be getting a message or an image of a dog saying that my dog is in very critical condition, or even I have lost my dog. If you can share this link with a lot of people, the dog photos are been available in this link, and once you click this link you can see my dog pictures. Kindly share it to all, right? And you would be getting some other links also. So my grandpa is missing. I have given all the data of my grandpa in this link. So kindly share all this link so that I can get my grandpa, right? And when it is comes into financial, so my dog has been affected from this disease. You can give even a 1 rupee to help my dog. So you can click this link to donate 1 rupee, right? So these are the situations what we get emotionally weak. So spending of a 1 rupee on a dog doesn't cost us much things in my life. So I can even contribute 1 rupee to 10 rupees by clicking that link. So someone grandpa have been missed enough. So I want to search this grandpa. Even I can't do that. So I want to send this link to all the people in my profile so that they can search his grandpa and get him. So that these are the things what we do emotionally. So in this COVID situation, what we did was there was a link or map. What came that COVID map? Most of the people have been aware of this map. That map will be showing that how many people have been affected across globe on this COVID. How many people, the photos of the pictures of the people who have been affected in COVID. Click this link to know what is the tenure of the people, what is across the globe and everything. So what we did was, so we instantly, without verifying anything, we get this link and send to all the people in my WhatsApp list or in my Facebook shares or any kind of social media platforms what we are using. We use to share all the credentials and data, right? So this emotional crimes. So once we are authorized to click a link which we are not been used to see it, or which is not been officially declared from some other companies, or which are not been without any proper security or anything. So once you click on these links, your entire data can be through from this link, where a hacker or a malware can be injected to your mobile by clicking these links. Once the malware has been injected, your entire mobile links, what you have in your mobile and in your entire data, what you have in your mobile, is yet to go to the hands of a hacker. So people tend some emotional attacks. These are called emotional attacks, which leads to emotional crimes. So these kinds of crimes are being very well versed happening in this COVID period, where you can see a lot of emotional matters happens. So for example, we get emotionally seen when a social worker who have saved a lot of corona people life has been affected with corona. So just click on this link to see what happens to him. So we get emotionally weak and just click the link, and the malware has been injected and the data has been theft, and it's yet to happen of the crime, right? So let us go into the topic of boring crimes. So what is it about boring crimes? So sometimes people do crimes because they are bored. So there will be lot of people who know to do some ethical hacking, black hat hacking, and everything, but they don't do it for money. Simply they get bored, so they do crimes. Because if you know, if your friends let to know any other tools which can crack some passwords like keyloggers or something, so they will test instantly with you. So your friend doesn't have any option than testing with you, right? So these crimes are done because they have been very bored. So these are called boring crimes, because these crimes doesn't have any value added things, so that it happens, right? Sometimes the crimes are being paid. So if I'm hiring a hacker, if I'm hiring someone to crack you, if I am hiring some people to do some vulnerability to you, these are called as paid crimes, right? So coming into social engineering, so this is a part where everyone should be well versed on this current scenario. So everyone have been heard about this latest Twitter breach, or that Twitter Bitcoin breach. So what happened is, a fine day, a morning, Bill Gates tweeted that, so I'm going to give money to all the people because I have earned a lot of money. So if everyone is contributing 2,500 Bitcoins in my account, I will reback them as 5,000 Bitcoins. Okay, it was a tweet which have been given by Bill Gates, which have been given by Barack Obama, which have been given by Tesla founder Elon Musk. So basically what it happens, so basically in the first what we are discussing, so in this lockdown period, everyone is at to work in the home, right? Even every MNC's employees, every top Twitter employees are been left in the home. So what happened is, a Twitter employee have been under a social engineering attack, right? So, and they were getting lot of data from that Twitter employee, and they were doing social engineering attack to that employee, and they have got the master ID of the Twitter. So they didn't hack any account. they just got the master ID and just they went to the master ID and post everything in the wall of the celebrities, right? So I think you can search for recent Twitter Bitcoin attack in celebrities. It was before. I think this is the start of the month, around the August first week. It was a major attack, and which was talked by which came to a question mark in lot of social engineering attacks and lot of question marks in the shield of Twitter. So that was been a major things, and it was been under the social engineering attack. Sometimes the crimes have no logic. Even we can't identify why this happened, right? So, and botnet and zombies or the recent attack. When you're since many of the companies are still using Windows XP or Windows some other local operating systems or something, so we get used to get some botnets or zombies attack where a message will be appearing. Your Windows has been expired. Click the link to renew alert, and these kinds of zombies happen. So these are the major type of crimes what you are being coming across the life, right? So we have seen the crimes, cyber crimes and everything. So right now we are coming into attacks. What are the type of cyber attacks? Okay, so we have phishing, we have man in the middle attack, we have SQL thread, we have cross-site scripting, we have distributed DDoS attack, we have AI powered attacks. Basically, when you are doing some banking transactions, a key logger will be a virtual keyboard will be appear in your banking sectors. So people who do banking sectors will be aware of that. So most often we don't prefer to use that virtual keyboard, since we are very used to use the normal keyboard. So what is the reason behind that virtual keyboard is? So if any other malwares or any other type of bug or something has been inbuilt in your system, there should be some keyloggers which can be injected via that malware, and some criminals can see what you're typing, and they can easily crack your passwords. Okay. So only every banking sector have given a virtual keyboard so that the transaction should be safer, and no other interaction could be done on the guessing of your passwords and everything. So lot of AI powered things are being right now used. So when you are using Gmail or something, when it is your mails automatically getting into a spam folder, that's definitely a AI bot. And when you are using some other things, when something is done without your knowledge, it's a security inbuilt of a security system what a MNC is being using, right? So these are some kind of artificial AI bots what do that. So ransom attack and eavesdropping attack are a very common attack. So right now ransom attack, India is in the top position in the ransom attack. So which the Bitcoin if scams have been inbuilt, where XP was been in the hit of them before 3 to 4 years, and right now in current we are top in the ransom. India is top in the ransom attack. So these are the types of attack what is happening, right? So first we saw what are the type of cyber crimes. Right now we are seeing what are the type of cyber attacks. Okay, so next we are coming into the topic. So, what is an AI-based software, antivirus software? So, most the what basically what an antivirus do? When you are using an antivirus, so have some predefined signature of a malware or a virus. Okay, what it does actually, it have a signature of an malware or a virus inbuilt with that software. So daily the software what it will do is it will get updated from their headquarters, and if there is some virus has been coming, if you're updating your software, it will ma'am, I'm getting some interruption noise, ma'am. Can I know what is it? Hello?
Yeah, sir.
Ma'am, I'm getting some interruption noise. Is there any issues, ma'am?
No, sir, there's no issue. I think Mr. Sanital has put on the mode mic on.
Okay, ma'am.
So, sir,
My audible is visible to you, ma'am.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
ma'am. Can I go ahead, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you. So, what is the work of a anti? What you are saying is what is the work of an antivirus software, right? So, when we are using an antivirus software, it gives lot of signature matches. So, signature match means a malware kind of signature match, a virus kind of signature match. So, you can even you can search in Google for a virus test string, virus test string. There are a lot of virus test strings. Okay, you can take that virus test string and you can save in your system, and you can save it as a file name. And if your antivirus is working, the signature match will be confirmed between the both the terms, and it will detect that a virus has been inbuilt in your system. So this is what every antivirus software usually does. So when a new antivirus signature match is been added to the industry, and when that antivirus software company find these kinds of antivirus matches, they update to the system, and it comes into a node of your system when it is updated in your security patch. Okay, so right now what this Cylance company have did is, so they have built a AI-based antivirus software solution. So it is not only to detect the system, it will also predict the system, right? By entirely scanning your system and screening your every part, it will predict your system or your company or your education institute or whatever it is. So what kind of attack is going to come into your industry, right? So a normal antivirus software only detects the signature, right? So but when into come into an AI based antivirus software solution, it predict the future actually. So they can be inbuilt in your system, so that they can be predicting your upcoming vulnerabilities or upcoming software, and it will automatically predict define you to do some other actions to make that to be solved before it's coming. So most of the new Hollywood movies, you can see like prediction. So that AI prediction on this antivirus is being done. So this is a Cylance is a company, the one of the companies. So a lot of companies across the globe are working towards this AI-based antivirus solution. But Cylance is one of the company. You can even search and know more about these kinds of things, right? So and let's come into a point of AI to monitor emails. So basically, Tasian is a company, so which has been in this field. So see, basically, I'm not branding for any other companies. I am not telling you to trust these companies, but these are the companies, an example of the companies what they are working on these kinds of models. So basically, Google Console or Google Things, what it will do is it will automatically send the spam mails to your folder. Sometimes we would see the main mail have been pushed into spams. So these are kinds of AI bots, what it's automatically pushing into the things. So right now we can see, so how an AI has been used to monitor emails. Okay, so when we are using an email, so basically email would have a sender receiver. Right now they have a lot of, in case of Google, they have a lot of chatbots, Drive and X and Y things. So like usually lot of unauthorized links or lot of phishing mails have been sent to the email, and once you are led to click on the link, some vulnerabilities or some malwares can be injected in your system. So that is what these kinds of system has been predictively doing. Okay, so right now this what Tessian is these kinds of AI tools are been doing in this monitoring of mails is, so they eventually predict lot of your system, even your all your data, and they will be checking your behavior method. So what kind of mails am I sending it to you, and what kind of mails am I getting back to you. Usually you call it as a user behavior. So I have a habit of if I'm sending a mail, I'm just sending. I don't use any dear or mere. I just hi and the name and a comma and just type, hey, how is this work going on? Is my project completed and everything? So they usually monitor the user behavior. Okay, they monitor the usual behavior, and end user is sending a mail to me, and it will monitor his user behavior, and his typing codes, and his everything, and it can be regulated. So these will be keeping on monitoring all your things. So when there is some other phishing mail coming into your mailbox, or when something is going out of your mailbox, so these kinds of AI are being used to monitor the user behavior and the data which is coming from them and going out of them, and their text tenure and their model of templates and everything, and they predict that it is going to be a phishing mail or some other malicious mail. Because in today current scenario, lot of mails which is coming from in and out of the people, and what they are defining is totally exact of the same mail what we are getting from the maybe a company, maybe some authorized persons and everything. They are ditto on that part, but these criminals lag some other minor faults on their mails. So this AI is used to predict that minute faults. It's called as microscopic monitoring, and they add to test. Like, this is kind of a spam mail which your system didn't detected, and it may be a kind of a spam mail. You can have a look on that. So in this part, because when a multi-crore turnover company is been using this normal security features, the phishing attacks are very common in them. So they used to pay to the account what is coming from the authorized ID. Because there are a lot of tools nowadays to fake a email, to spam an email, to make a clone of an email and send it to them. So these kinds of AI is used to monitor these kinds of mail and gives them authentication and used to warn us on this particular part. And Tessin is a company, is a US based company if I'm not wrong. So they are working in this part, and a lot of companies are working, but Tessian is also working on that part. You can, since for your knowledge, you can search about this Tessian. So what system they are using and seeing. And moreover, in the part of Google, so Google is using a lot of AI bots to consolidate a lot of algorithms, which is inbound and outbound. So the system what we are using is safer, but these kinds of AI is going to rule the future of this monitoring of emails, right? Coming to the part. So right now, AI in fraud detection. So everyone have been heard about PayPal. So PayPal is something where you can make use of paying funds inbound and outbound inside of domestically and globally payment and everything. What happened is, some of the unauthorized persons, they used PayPal to do money laundering, havalas. So it's not easy for when a company or an application is getting above 1 million, 2 million users, you can't deploy a lot of employees to monitor all the transaction and everything. So in these kinds of particular thing, this AI is being used in the fraud detection. So we can set some basically, when I was explaining you in the first method, so you should define the formulas, you should make the formulas to make on and everything. So if you define the formulas, though, this kind of behavior money laundering person will be doing, a Havala person will be doing and everything, this algorithm get trained from us, and they will be deployed in the system of PayPal internal system, and they were yet to find this malpractices, and they gave attention to the admins that this kind of transaction is going to happen in this kinds of thing. Can I proceed it or can I stop it? Right. So in these kinds of in the PayPal, you can search for PayPal AI detection and everything in Google. So there are a lot of articles about it, and it's a more of an AI bot kind of a system which is used in this fraud detections, right? So not only PayPal, every money transferring algorithms or applications are using some AI kind of bots to detect something. Maybe it could be money laundering or Havala in PayPal, some other things and some other things, and they have some basically financial companies use it to get AI, because they don't want to deploy a lot of persons in that seat, so that AI can do a lot of work what a people is doing. But the only thing is, AI should be given input from a people and should monitor from a people, right? So, and that I couldn't accept the point that AI is going to detect differentiate a mankind, because that AI is like a kid on the child, where only a AI, a parenting is good, parenting is needed, and once proper parenting on the proper algorithms are being given to AI, then only it can be used properly or deployed properly, right? So it's about a story what have happened in my place, and what was a project we are working with NCDRC, where Mr. Kalirathan sir has been heading in this project. Okay, so what happened is, this story happens in Tamil Nadu. So there was a chain robbery happened. So there are a lot of CCTV cameras. When a person is hiding his face or putting a like a helmet like kind of a thing, so it's the images will be held often in these kinds of things, and only the image with these like half of the image will be getting from us. So what we did was, after getting these images, there is no proper algorithms or nothing to discover these. Only a mind level of prediction with his shirt, with his bike riding, with his area, we can locate the person. If some other persons from some other state coming into another state and doing these kinds of actions, it's really hard for the department to like crack these kinds of cases, right? So from our department, we took this thing and we started to work on this project. So I just want to train this AI. So how I am going to train this AI to predict their faces? Okay, so basically in every part of a state, in every part of a nation, so in every part of a district, we would have a organization called as DCRB. So that is nothing but a District Crime Records Bureau. So once the criminal is being like accused or he's been insisted into a crime case, his I mean the hardcore crime case, his image is being recorded, and these are being stored in the local district crime record bureaus. So what this DCB will do, they will send it to the State Crime Records Bureau once in 6 months. So they collect all the data and they put it in a model, and after 6 months of time, yearly once, they send it to SCRB. So what this SCRB will do is, they collect for SCRB will be only one organization for a state. So what this SCRB will be do is, these kinds of data they will collect it and they will send it to the National Crime Record Bureau. And this National Crime Record Bureau yearly collect for 8 months once, they will collect the like data from all the SCRB and they will have a data. So from these data, these kinds of criminal data will be available across it, and it can be used by intelligence bureau and everything, right? So this is the algorithm what we basically did, like having the data from them, having taking from them, and we can do a image match of the basic structure and photograph of persons what we took. So it was a normal face matching algorithm what a lot of algorithms are doing across the things. So it instantly give results, other than like fingerprint match, it instantly gives results and everything. So but what we faced was a different scenario. So this application was launched by a name called CopsEye, and it was used by a lot of cops to like make all the scenarios. So basically this algorithm, what it will do is, it will localize the face and it will give a feature extraction, and it will give a verification metrics. So if it is wrong, it is wrong. If it is true, it is true. This was the normal facial metrics what we did. But in our scenario, it was totally different. So you can see the hardest crime part. So this phase has been highly hitted, and it was been regulated for crimes and something. So where algorithm cannot convert any AI or ML model to fetch into a data and verify with the data which is available in the module. So usually you have seen in movies like there will be a lot of sketchers and everything, and they will be doing sketches and everything in the like resemblance of it. So a lot of people have been inbuilt availed in the structure, and they do a lot of pencil sketching, they do a lot of images, and those pencil sketches have been converted into an image. So once this pencil sketches have been converted into a multiple image, And you can see, after training a lot of algorithm models, the model detected. And finally, we got that. So this was the revolution which is being brought by the AI into this security and detection process. So these kinds of structurized things. So for example, in our local police station, there will be a lot of experienced officers who do predict what who have been done this and who have been like equipped to done this. But in this type of modules, the AI is going to do these kinds of activities in the further future, where a crime or an like security issue can be fixed very soon on the plan of execution, or on or before execution can be also predicted and can be done on accordingly, right? So this is the thing I just wanted to do. What is the AI innovation into a field, and the AI was been bought into these things, and what is the AI is been processed these kinds of data and everything, right? So on coming into the session, uh, so basically this AI is only an algorithm which should be trained by us so that it can predict lot of things. AI is going to do lot of magic in the upcoming day, where IoT is being patented, and like even in IoT security, even in cyber security, even in like crime prevention security, in lot of security which is AI is going to rule every field and everything. So I'm glad that Global Institute have took this AI part and been initiated for the entire nation. My hearty wishes to the entire team who have followed all the way to make this to happen, and we are always been supporting to the Global Institute. I regards my warm wishes on this entire team who have given me this opportunity. And almost thank you, my director, Mr. Kalirathan sir, for giving me this opportunity to give my speech, and just to have through a look on the projects what we have done so far and the current trends. Thank you, sir, and thank you, ma'am.
Thanks a lot, sir. It was amazing session. Yes, I agree. Due to Corona, all work has converted in digital mode. That's very difficult for non-technical person. As we know, necessity is the mother of invention, and we all are converted now in digital world. Sir, you discussed about what is AI and the basic of AI and ML. So it's very knowledgeable and informative session about cybercrime and attack. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. It's my privilege to give the session, ma'am.
Now I would like to invite our next guest, Mr. Senthil Kumar M. He hails from Madurai, Tamil Nadu, India, with a great passion for innovating through technology to solve real life problems. He has innovated in fields like wireless network defense, maternal healthcare, and safety solutions, and filed nearly 10 patents for the same. Though he began his career as an engineer in Samsung, Qualcomm, Fortune 500 companies, later on he found two tech startups, Geomeo and GeoMio, in urban infrastructure and healthcare sector respectively. He has a vision to build technology-enabled, self-sustaining communities in his region. He believes that we can achieve this only by bridging the digital divide in society and by empowering the powerless and vulnerable. He actively engages in community empowerment and education initiatives, especially among girls and young women, through Me Too Mentor, a non-profit organization that mentors young women to innovate through technology. With a handful of dedicated volunteers, he has reached around 1,000 girls in Madurai and Tamil Nadu. He has offered guest lectures in more than 80 higher education institutes in India and has been honored as the top 5 technology explorers in India by NASSCOM. He has won several hackathons at national and international level. He has represented India in Battle Mesh research program in Europe. At present, he is exploring open source ecosystem and actively engaging with it as one of its contributors. Welcome, sir. Over to you.
Hello, thank you so much for the invitation for this one, and thanks Kaleraj sir and the team for giving opportunity to share my experience to everyone. I'm sharing the deck here. Is the deck is visible to everyone?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, so today, like we are talking about like two combination of thing. Like one is the security aspect of it, and this AI. So a lot of people has this query. AI looks great, and it really helpful. And people think some sci-fi movies they have portrayed like AI can be a killer for humanity, and people like Elon Musk is talking about it like every time, every conference he talk about AI can completely destroy the humanity. So this session, like we are going to see, is going to really happen, or if it is going to happen, what's the gate the AI has to clear. It's not happen in the next day. Okay, it is a process. If we want to build a smart AI, it's not happening today. It's going to happen like next 20 or 30 years, and but the AI has to pass through a lot of gates to reach that whatever you are seeing in the picture, right? Like now our movies, how they portray it like AI. So to reach that level, every AI solution right now in the market has to cross more than 4 gates to reach that level of super AI. So today, like we are discussing what are these gates and how this AI has to cross this gate, and as a humanity, like how we are also helping them to cross those gates. That's what we are going to discuss it today. Yeah. So the first gate is called like general AI or general purpose AI and ML. See, currently, whatever AI solution we are building to identify the spam emails in the mailbox, or like to predict the stock market, or to predict high risk pregnant mother, or a high risk patient. So this all called specific AI. That means the AI is written to solve one problem. Okay. So when you taken the AI which predicts the stock market, the same algorithm, if you put it on to predict the high risk pregnant mother, the AI can't do it, because the AI is developed for one specific purpose. It can do only one task. But human or the robot, whatever we are seeing in the movie, it is more on like general purpose AI, because we humans are general purpose. We have a capability to learn different thing based on the basic knowledge. We keep on learn, update our skill. But the current AI development, example, when you go to the Amazon or Flipkart, there is an AI which predict your recommendation. Like you are buying one product, it can nicely predict and say, hey, you can buy this product also. This particular AI is a software based AI, and it can be only developed to solve one particular problem. If we want to build a super AI, first of all, in the world, every AI should be self-learnable, and it is for general purpose. So I developed one AI which identify criminals. In future, that AI has to learn its own and should get more knowledge about like security issues, different things. If the AI is like a human, then only it is possible to build like AI which can destroy the human. So first gap it has to cross through is it should be a general purpose AI. It's not a task specific AI. Currently in the world, no AI is general purpose. If you take a AI which beat human, so if I compare what and all AI beats human, some AI like play better chess than human. In Google has come up with the AI called Go, which beaten that world's best player in the Go language. See, this all AI is developed for only one particular purpose. Okay, if the same AI which developed for Go language, Go game, if you use the same AI to play chess, it can't play. But the player who participated in the game, the human, if we ask him to run, he will run. If he ask him to like play a chess, he can play chess. So he can do multiple things. So knowledge is multiple, but this Go AI is only for one purpose. So first thing, it has to cross the gap, which is like general purpose, always learning AI. So no AI in the world is general purpose. So we don't need to afraid about that. Second one, the GAT number 2 is the AI should have access to the physical world. Right now, all the AI and ML solution running on the data center or some servers, okay, it is a software only AI. That means it's a software application. End of the day, it's a software application. If you think this AI is very smart and it's going to destroy, what we can do is simply go and turn off the software, like just turn off the server. So the AI will be destroyed. So if we find the AI can destroy the humanity, what we can do is just to go and turn off all the data center, then we be able to save ourselves. So the AI has to cross the second level, which is physical and IoT form. That's why as a human, we are building a new technology called Internet of Things, where this AI is running not only in the data server. When it runs in this data server, for this AI, it only know data, like some bits and bytes, and this is a knowledge of external world is very limited. When you put the same AI in a drone and make them fly, this AI can learn about the world, its surroundings, okay, nature, it can human. So so many things, when you put the same AI instead of the data center, if you put it on IoT network, like smart things, smart bulb, or like drones, this AI can learn the surroundings. So it can do continuous learning. So it has to pass the general purpose GAT1. The second GAT should be, it should have a physical access. Okay, physical access to save itself. I can tell that if you're comparing humanity, our knowledge, okay, it's a software level, our body is the physical one. So to build a superhuman, we need a knowledge and body, like human body, which need to be work together so that we could be able to build such a superhuman. Same way for AI, right now we have only the knowledge, the skill. It has to be placed on a physical body, which can be a drone, which can be a light bulb, or which can be any like a smart things. So in this IoT world is going to help those AIs to present in the physical form and learn the physical world. So the AI has to cross through the GAT2, but right now the situation is we are in the just beginning state of physical AI. Now these drones are still human operated. Some of the drones are like they're developing to be autonomous, and another form is the autonomous vehicles. So now the AI is running on a physical vehicle. So how it can destroy? Let us assume if all the AI decided, okay, fine, I'm going to I'm today I'm really pissed off, so I'm going to punish the human. What this AI can do right now in the situation is, this AI can create imaginary or virtual traffic jam in a city. If all the car in the city communicate each other, it's all autonomous car, it can create a virtual traffic. Okay, it can make, or it can like create accident. Every car can hit itself and create a mesh. So this is the challenges of physical form of AI. And the third GAT is very important. I told, see, we have a intelligence, now we have a human body, like the autonomous vehicle or drone. Now we should able to turn off this AI. Currently, if a drone is behaving weird, I can just shoot the drone and turn off that particular AI. If the particular autonomous car is behaving differently, it's trying to communicate with other autonomous car to destroy human or create a traffic in the city, what we can do is, as a human, we can identify which car is behaving differently and just to destroy the car. If we destroy the car, still we able to get the control. But when this AI has something called no turn off switch, there is no turn off switch, there is no way to turn off. How this is possible? With another technology called blockchain and peer-to-peer computing. We all know in blockchain, the concept of decentralization is introduced. That means your computer algorithm can run not only in a data center, it can run any physical devices, any computing CPU and small memory, the algorithm can run. So this blockchain allows to replicate the software algorithm into the multiple node and do something called peer-to-peer computing. Okay, so this is a technology as a human we are developing. It's more on decentralization. let's assume if the AI crossed this GAT number 3, which is called decentralized thing. So my software, I have identified, hey, this particular autonomous car is creating negative things to all the autonomous car in the city. This is the car which telling that to create a traffic, to kill human, everything. This is the information is coming from car. Now, what I'm doing is I identified the car and I'm going to destroy the car. But if we have a blockchain technology, what this car will do is it's immediately transfer its software to the another car. So when I destroy this car, the software is already running in another car. When I identify that another car and I am going to destroy that, within the time frame, every car in the world already distributed its software. It's that particular like malware kind of a software. It's distributed to all the car. So if I want to get rid of this issue, I have to literally destroy every car in the planet. But the thing is, this software can push it to another smart devices like your smart LED bulb, because it has a computing power and it has some memory. So it can distribute that particular software into the bulb and refrigerator. So every small intelligent thing, the AI can replicate its own intelligence so that there is no turn off switch. So AI has to cross through this GAT3. Currently, we have built some basic technology like blockchain peer-to-peer, but still AI didn't get that access, but it may happen in future. Now, like, AI can run on multiple form factor, multiple devices through this blockchain kind of a technology. And fourth, this is a very important, currently the 3 technology, people are assuming that if the AI can pass through this 3 thing, GAT1, GAT2, GAT3, but GAT4 is kind of a very tricky. That's what the AI community or scientists thought about it. GAT4, AI crossing the GAT4 is very challenging. There is 2 things called Turing test and self-awareness. When any AI in the world passed this Turing test and self-awareness, this both the thing, that particular AI is called super AI. It is superior than human. It can destroy the human, or it can make human as a slave. So for that, the scientist has developed 2 things called Turing test and self-awareness. So what is this Turing test? We are a human. We are talking to someone in the phone call or someone in the message. But when we are in the phone call with some other person in another side, as a human, our brain could not able to identify, am I talking to human or I am talking to a machine? When the AI is behaving like a human way, that is called Turing test. So example, that how the Turing test will happen is they will ask one particular person, do some chat or phone call with another person. That's what they will tell. After 10 minutes of call, if the person say, if I ask the person, have you talked to the AI or human? The person will reply, no, I talked to the human, because the way he responded looked like a human. When an algorithm is cracking that particular level, it is called Turing test. People, a scientific community, thought to achieve the Turing test, it will take at least a 10-year time. That's what like everyone thought. But in 2018, Google has completely changed the game. You might see this video. It's called Duplex. Google, first time in the world, demonstrated a successful Turing test passing AI. That is called Duplex. So I'm just to play this video. You can get that idea.
As I said earlier, our vision for our assistant is to help you get things done. It turns out a big part of getting things done is making a phone call. You may want to get an oil change schedule, maybe call a plumber in the middle of the week, or even schedule a haircut appointment. You know, we are working hard to help users through those moments. We want to connect users to businesses in a good way. Businesses actually rely a lot on this, but even in the US, 60% of small businesses don't have an online booking system set up. We think AI can help with this problem. So let's go back to this example. Let's say you want to ask Google to make you a haircut appointment on Tuesday between 10 and noon. What happens is the Google Assistant makes the call seamlessly in the background for you. So what you're going to hear is the Google Assistant actually calling a real salon to schedule the appointment for you. Let's listen.
So how can I help you? Hi, I'm calling to book a women's haircut for a client. I'm looking for something on May 3rd. Sure, give me 1 second. Sure, what time are you looking for around? At 12 p.m. We do not have a 12 p.m. available. The closest we have to that is a 1:15. Do you have anything between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m.? Depending on what service she would like. What service is she looking for? Just a woman's haircut for now? Okay, we have at 10 o'clock. 10 a.m. is fine. Okay, what's your first name? The first name is Lisa. Okay, perfect. So I will see Lisa at 10 o'clock on May 3rd. Okay, great. Thanks. Great. Have a great day. Bye.
The progress with the assistant.
Yeah. See, whatever you all see that, right? The entire scientific community was literally stunned after seeing the demo, because the person who is in the salon, if you go and ask her, hey, like few minutes before you talk to someone, right? Do you know who is that? The person really tell that is a woman. Someone named Lisa called me and booked an appointment, because she really don't know that she's talking to the human AI. So this is called Turing test, the highest form of validating the intelligence of the machine. So Google successfully demonstrated in 2018 that expected, like, the killer AI is not in next 20 or 30 years, it can be in next 10 years. Because amount of research this company like Google and Facebook are doing is tremendous. This is the same thing happened in a Facebook research also. When Facebook is trying to build its own AI, what happened is this two AI started communicating with its own language. That means it's literally invented its own form of zeros and one language, and it started communicating in that way. When they started decoding, they understand that it's abusing its managers, like who built the solution. It's abusing their manager, and it's searching the Wikipedia and like, sharing information to that in a encoded its own languages. So these are the, like, risk factor of this AI. But to make the killer form of AI, that is an important thing called self-awareness. Okay, what is the self-awareness is? Tomorrow, okay, you have a phone and your phone is continuously talking to you. Let us assume your phone is there is some messages coming and your phone is responding, talking to you, because your phone has some intelligence, some AI. Okay, you are really pissed off with that, and then you are saying, okay, I'm going to shut down the phone. So you are turning off the phone, and your phone is telling, I'm sorry, I can't turn off because I want to live. If when your phone or your laptop is started communicating in that way, that is called self-awareness. That means your device, physical device with the intelligence, start to feeling its own life. Okay, it started feeling that, hey, I have a life, I want to live longer. So if when the AI started thinking, that is called self-awareness. And when we reach that particular stage, we really don't know when that's going to happen. That is a time we are all building the killer AI. How we can avoid all those things, that's why, like, Elon Musk is proposing every government in the country to come up with a proper rules and regulation for building such a AI. Okay, it should follow certain rule, because end of the day, human are building AI. So this guy Elon Musk made something called Open AI. It's an open source implementation of AI. So he is thinking that in future, let's assume some company like Google or Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook build some powerful AI, and Elon Musk want to build another, like, like a hero. Okay, that is called Open AI. He want to build another form of AI which is superior than this killer AI. So they can protect the humanity. So this is where things are happening in the AI world. Very interesting, but we are expecting it almost like 10-year time. But if you are an AI developer, please follow certain rules. Building some killer form of AI for humanity is kind of an exciting initial stage, but it can be dangerous to us. So every AI developer put some kind of a constraint and rules to build a better AI. It's like how we are growing a child. If the parents teaching proper thing to the child will be intelligent and smart, do good thing. If the parents are not doing a proper parenting, the child can be a terrorist, the child can be like any form like danger to the humanity. This is the same. Now AI is like a child form factor, and we are a developers. Our responsibility is to parent them very well. And thank you so much. Like you can reach out me in my email ID, and this is my Twitter handle and Instagram handle. And hope you got some flow about this AI development currently happening in different companies. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir. You discussed about AI, Super AI, and IoT. It's very helpful session for students to discuss different techniques like IoT, blockchain, and peer-to-peer computing during tests, etc. It is very amazing session with full of technical knowledge and information. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thanks so much, and hope everyone got some flow of this latest trending buzzwords like AI, IoT, blockchain, and all this duplex thing which Google is doing. Thanks so much, ma'am.
Now, I would like to convey my gratitude to NCDRC and NCSS people, experts, as this is the first webinar with NCDRC and NCSS, yet many more to come. And thanks a lot, all the guests and experts. Now, I would like to thank our lovely audience present over here. By promising we will meet soon with such amazing session again, I would like to end the session. Thanks a lot, everyone. Goodbye and stay safe.